somebody with scurvy and you give them vitamin C and it goes away. You have somebody with diabetes and you give them these 2 trace minerals and it just goes away. This was proven again and published in the New England Journal of Medicine back in 1977 in humans. So this isn't just me, some dumb farm kid out here from Missouri making this up. This is quite scientifically correct. Now, I've only picked out one disease. It's in the animal industry, and as pointed out earlier in the program, I'm a veterinarian as well as a physician. And in veterinary medicine, we've eliminated 900 different diseases using vitamins and minerals in their alfalfa pellets and their dog food and kibbles and bibs. We don't have to use organ transplants or the stem cells or genetically engineered proteins or wonder drugs, because through nutrition we have eliminated all birth defects. Now that's pretty profound. Here, the rate of diabetes is going up, the rate of heart disease is going up, the rate of cancer is going up, the rate of arthritis, osteoporosis is going up. Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease, it's not genetic. It's time to put my foot down and say, okay, I'm going to start employing this stuff that's published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. I'm going to start employing this in my practice. Cause cancer, for instance, is how you cook your food and how you eat. When you look at the longest-lived peoples, county by county in the United States, the Midwest and the Upper Plains states live 25 years longer than the peoples in the Indian reservations and the residents of the old 13 Confederate states. And if they're free of tuberculosis, brucellosis, raw milk is one of the safest foods ever devised by the good Lord. It's just a great food, and it's not quite the perfect food. I believe the egg is the perfect food, but raw milk is a good source of protein. It's a good source of actually antibodies. Back before we had antibiotics, raw milk was actually a treatment of choice by old rural doctors, because raw milk actually had live white blood cells in it and live antibodies from the cow that could kill. Babies die of diarrhea in the world. This is the biggest killer of babies in the world, regardless of whether you're from an industrialized nation or a third world country. Just simple diarrhea from bacteria where people in the household don't wash the dishes and the bottles for the baby, so that there's bugs growing in there and it gets into the baby and causes death. And just the 141 degrees they use to pasteurize milk will kill the white blood cells, kill the antibodies, so it just becomes a liquid source of some protein and a little bit of vitamins. And so medical doctors treat the birth process as a disease in a special area of the hospital. Insurance pays for it. It's absolutely insane. And it's the medical benefits are the basic root cause of that, because Clinton signed the NAFTA bill in 1992. And it took 10 years for China and India and Mexico to build the infrastructure so they could manufacture things like Maytag washers and dryers and other appliances and automobiles and airplanes. And what I've learned here, I don't know if you've said this on your show before, Alex, but by 2010, somewhere by the middle of 2010, the entire aircraft industry in Seattle and Tacoma, Boeing and Airbus, are moving to Mexico for manufacturing their aircraft. Well, yeah, eugenics is something I've studied very heavily because it started out, really, my interest got in the eugenics process because of the Indiana Jones movies. When you dig back into it, it goes way back into the, beyond the 1700s, the beginning of the slave days, where people were measuring people's heads and, well, this person can't reproduce and that sort of thing. And it's gotten very sophisticated. And so what we have to do is, if you avoid the system, if you don't participate in the system, then they can't get you. If you avoid, for instance, if you avoid the vaccinations, you take personal responsibility, you practice good hygiene, you use something simple like aromatherapy oils and just good soap and water, and you personal hygiene, and you don't put your fingers in your nose and your eyes and your mouth, you eat food with a fork instead of your fingers, take your shoes off and your socks off before you go in your house, and don't drag street germs into your rug in the house or your little kid rolls around the floor, you're going to survive and do well. But if you don't pay attention to those details, you will die. And we know that the flu vaccine only protects 15 to 30% of the people who get the vaccine, but yet 100% have risk of danger from the vaccine. So, oh gosh, it's one of those things where certainly people we come in contact with are just 78 to 90% are refusing the vaccines.
Associated with infertility. This could be associated with cancer. I mean, that's on the vaccine insert. Meanwhile, the news media is saying there's no adverse reactions, no problems. It's a conspiracy theory. You know, that's why I joke and say soon they'll say it's a conspiracy theory that women are supposed to breastfeed, or that that's what breasts are even for. But the asinine level of lying. Now we have the NHS staff are refusing to take the vaccine. This is out of England. The Department of Health has ordered NHS bosses across England to ensure that frontline staff can immunize against swine flu amid growing signs that many doctors and nurses intend to shun the vaccine. Same thing happening here in the U.S. That's why the smallpox forced inoculation program fell through in 2002, 2003 with the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, because the vast majority of the medical workers and doctors wouldn't take it. Folks,